Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nadia Sobrardi. I'm a personal branding specialist from winwithnadiasobrardi.com. How is everyone doing today? I hope you all are doing well. Looks like Facebook is actually building my audience right now, so I'm going to wait for you guys to jump in. And when you jump in, please let me know where you're coming from so I can give you a shout out. I usually don't go live around this time, but guys, oh my gosh. Hey Len, what's up, my friend? How are you doing? Thank you for joining me. What's going on? Looks like Facebook is still building my audience, so I'm gonna wait for. I have a great topic, guys. I want to cover with you all today, and Facebook is actually building my audience right now, and I'm gonna wait for some more people on here because I want a lot more people on here. Hey Anna, what's going on, beautiful? Thank you for joining me. So what's going on, guys? I'm awesome. How are you, Len? I'm doing great. Len, I'm doing great. Been busy behind the scenes, getting a lot done. But yeah, I'm actually doing well. Hey Mir, how you doing, my friend? What's going on, guys? So it looks like Facebook is still building my audience, and I'm gonna wait for some more people to jump on. Hey Alan, what's going on? How you doing, Alan? I missed you guys. I missed all of you from not going live so much. But you know what, guys? I had so many coaching sessions booked, and I'm working on ManyChat too, and taking this course and all of this stuff behind the scenes. So I've been really busy, but I'm getting ready to dive right back into work and, start doing more videos, right? But, so I'm going to get started. Facebook is still building my audience, but it's okay. I'm going to get started now. So, hey, Farq, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So what's going on, everyone? What part of the world you guys live in? I'm in New York, and you know what? It's spring. We had a lot of snow here a few days ago. But the weather, it looks really nice outside, so the snow is melting. So guys, I have a great topic. Hey Shahid, how you doing, my friend? I have a great topic I want to cover with you all today, right guys? And today's topic is how to tell your story to inspire and captivate your audience. And guys, there's so many different ways you can tell your story. And there's so many different parts, so many different components into when it comes to telling your story, right? And there's a certain way you have to tell your story to inspire and captivate your audience, right? So you want to talk about where you came from. You want to talk about, thank you for all the love and the hearts. You want to talk about where you came from. You want to talk about your struggles, right? You want to talk about where, you want to talk about your breaking point. You want to talk about where you are now. You want to talk about how you felt when you made your first $100, right? I mean, you want to talk about these things. You want to let your audience know that you're just like them. Because when you let them know you're just like them, and you let them know your struggles, and you let them know everything about you and who you are as a person, guys, guess what's going to happen? You're going to inspire and captivate them, and you're going to attract them to you, right? People want to work with someone that's real. They want to work with someone that's real. They want to work with someone who's genuine. So you want to be your authentic self, okay? You want to be genuine. Guys, your audience can see right through you. Your audience can see if you want to help them or if you just want to make money. I mean, I'm serious. People can see right through you, and they can feel your energy. This is why in this business it's so important to be genuine. It's so important to be genuine and to be your authentic self, because you are going to inspire so many people. You're going to inspire so many people. Hello, hey Edmar, I don't think we've ever met before, but how are you doing? Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you all for all the love, and I love you very much there. Well, thank you, my friend. I can't pronounce your name, but so this is what I want to talk to you all today about, right, guys? So guess what? I'm going to tell you all my story, and you know something, guys? To be good at storytelling, you have to be you have to do it all the time. I've told my story so many times, but I've never told the whole story because I didn't feel like, that I wanted the world to know everything about me, right? And it's so important, guys. You need to become vulnerable. When you start telling your story, you need to become vulnerable. You need to tell people your struggles. You need to let them know who you are. And this is what's going to attract them to you, because they're going to be able to resonate with your story. Guys, there's so many people out there that have different stories, right? Some of them have a good story. Some of them have a bad story. I don't have a bad story. My story is not related to drugs, alcohol, or anything like that. But my story is related to our economic systems, to our economic system. And this was how I got into, this is what actually led me to become an entrepreneur. This is what led me to become an entrepreneur, because it got to a point where I was desperate. But, I'm going to start telling you my story. I'm going to tell you where I came from, my life, how I ended up becoming an entrepreneur. I'm going to talk about the breaking point for me and when I started getting results. Because, my story has to do with our economic system, right? It had nothing to do, because I don't have a bad story. But, if you don't have a story to tell, guys, you can use someone else's story. But I recommend you use your own story. Create your own story. Create your own character. Create your own person. Create who you are. But remember, there are so many different components to telling your story, to captivate your audience, that you have to learn how to do this correctly. There are different steps. There's different, and my story is not 100% complete. I mean, I've told my story so many times, but it's not 100% complete yet, because I'm like, do I really want to become that vulnerable? Do I really want the world to know who I am? Right? Yes, I do. But I'm still writing my story. But I'm gonna share with you guys who I am now, and tell you my story from where I'm at now, right? So, guys, I was born in a small island in Trinidad and Tobago. It's in the Caribbean. I have 3 siblings, a brother, 2 sisters. I'm the oldest. And, when I was 16 years old, I moved to the United States with my mother. My parents got divorced when I was young. So I went to school, got a degree in health information I got a degree in accounting. And I did accounting for a little while. And then after that, I bartended here and there. I worked at a mortgage company. I was a loan officer. That's what I did, right? And in 2006, I quit my job. I wasn't making money. There was a lot of issues going on with the mortgage companies and stuff like that. So I quit my job. I started back bartending. And then I met my ex-fiance, right? And we got together, and we were friends for 6 months, moved in together, got engaged, was supposed to get married. And so, for the first 3 years we were together, guys, all we did was travel. He's a business owner. I didn't have to work. All we did was travel. We traveled all over the place for 3 years. And I got tired of it, and his business started to struggle because he wasn't there, to take care of his business, even though he had other people running his business. So I decided to go back to school, because I always had a thing for healthcare, right? And he focused on his company. So we barely saw each other. Even though we lived together, he was traveling a lot. We'd probably see each other once or twice a month. And we were living together, So that kind of had a strain on the relationship. But I just focused on school. So I got, I went back to school, and I was in school for about 6 years for healthcare, And, I got a degree in health information technology, then another degree in public health. Then I worked as a medical case manager where I was treating HIV patients, right? And they cut funding, so I was struggling for a job. Couldn't find a job. I must have applied to hundreds of jobs, guys. I must have applied to hundreds of jobs. Went on a handful of interviews. I even flew to Cerna, cross country, and they wanted people with high GPA. I graduated 4.0 GPA. I graduated summa cum laude. That's the top 1% of my graduating school, right? And guess what? I could not get a job. I ended up taking some job at this was before. I couldn't get a job. So I decided to go back to school to do a double master's in acupuncture and oriental medicine, because I love studying medicine. I love helping people, right, guys? I love helping people. So I went back to school, and, afterwards, I still couldn't find a job. I still could not find a job. And I became very depressed. I became so depressed that, during that time, my ex-fiance and I had broken up, because he focused so much on his work. I was in school. There was no more us. And in the end, we ended up breaking up. So I was extremely depressed. I couldn't find a job. I was depressed. I went through severe depression. Couldn't find a job. And my breaking point was one day I was on Facebook and I saw someone telling his story. And I was curious. I was like, oh my God, who is this guy? But you know what, guys? The same guy I spoke to him a year ago, but we didn't talk about what he did or anything. I had just launched a healthcare consulting company. That company failed because I really didn't know much about what I was doing, right? I didn't have that experience, so my company failed. So I went into major depression. And one day I was on Facebook, guys, and I saw this guy telling his story, and it attracted me to him. And that night I contacted him, right? That night I contacted him. Hey, Priya, what's up, beautiful? That night I contacted him, and we talked for about 3 hours. And he showed me a training platform. It's like a PhD in marketing. Guys, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what was attraction marketing. I had no idea how to build a funnel. I had no idea. I never did marketing. I went to school for healthcare, right? All my degrees are in healthcare. So I had no idea what I was doing. And then, I took this training platform. I learned everything I could for the first 3 months. I went into learning mode. I wasn't getting results, but I knew when you start in a business, it's all about learning, right? So, but I was doing videos. I was doing a lot of videos. And even though I wasn't getting results, guess what? I was getting results. I was building a huge following. I was building an audience. So many people know who I am now, But anyway, I hired a coach, didn't get results until I met Mark Lalonde, who I partnered up with. He's one of my business partners. And he coached me, and I started making money. This was like about 6 to 7 months into this online space was when I started making money. And since then, I've ranked advanced, 6 times, right, guys? I've only been in this business a year and a half, so I've learned a lot. And, to me, it was a blessing in disguise. It was a blessing in disguise when I was going on all these job interviews and I could not find a job. No one would hire me. So I created my own future, and this is what really I want to marry. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so many people wanting to marry me and stalkers. You guys are out of your mind. I think you're in the wrong audience. This is not a dating site. But yeah, this was my struggle, right? So my breaking point was, what am I gonna do? And guys, I'm a risk taker. I've built multiple businesses. I'm a risk taker. If I see something that I like and I know I could build it, I would jump right in and I would build it. But since then, Mark Lalonde and I created a Firestarter mentorship program. And we had over 1,000 people who have applied to work with us, and we only accepted 100. So yeah, this is pretty huge. And everything for me, it was a blessing in disguise. So this is my story. This has to do with our economic system, right? But now I'm able to travel anywhere in the world and work anywhere, and not ever have to worry about money. Because I've learned the skills. How to do this and how to teach people, So I just this was a short story of myself. I haven't told you guys the whole story, but I'm trying to give you an idea, right? I'm trying to give you an idea how to tell your story to inspire your audience. So remember, you want to talk about where you came from. You want to talk about your background. You want to talk about your work. Hey, my friend, what are you doing? So you want to talk about your struggles, guys. Listen. In this business, a lot of people start telling their stories and they start saying, oh yeah, I'm making 6 figures, but they're not talking about their struggles. They're not talking about their struggles. So if you're not talking about your struggles, right, how can you possibly inspire your audience? Hey, Mike, how can you possibly inspire your audience? How can they believe in you, right? You need to tell your story. You need to learn all the components. You need to learn all the components on how to tell your story the correct way to inspire and captivate your audience. Hey, Mike, what's going on? I'm talking about storytelling. Hey, Tahern, how you doing, my friend? I think I pronounced your name. What's going on? How are you guys doing? So listen, are you guys telling your story? You guys need to learn how to tell your story. And listen, by you telling your story, guess what's going to happen? You're gonna be attracting an endless supply of leads. People are gonna reach out to you. Okay? Why? Because they feel like they can relate to your story. They're gonna feel like, oh my God, this person is just like me. Right, guys? So listen, you wanna talk about your struggles. You wanna talk about your struggles. You wanna talk about your breaking point. You wanna talk about when you started getting results. Let people in your life, let them in your life. Let them get to know who you are. Let them get to know who you are. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm happy I got it. We talked about this the other day, and your advice was awesome. Well, thank you. You know what? Trahern, if I'm always pronouncing this name, anyway. You know, guys, it's important. So many people, guys, I swear to God, so many people are struggling on how to tell their story. And you know where they're struggling? They're struggling when it comes to being vulnerable. This is where they're struggling. Because listen, right here, I struggle with it too. When my coach said to me, right, my first coach was like, you know, Nadia, it's about time you tell your story. And I was like, what? I was like, well, I don't have a story. Guys, we all have a story. We all have a story, right? We all have a story. So guys, let people in your life, let them know who you are. Tell your story. And the more you tell your story, and once you've learned all the components and how to tell your story the correct way, guess what's going to happen? You're going to inspire people. You're going to inspire people. You're going to captivate your audience. People are going to look up to you as a leader because number one, they see your struggles. They see what you've been through because you're telling them, okay, I've struggled. This is what I went through. Guys, how you think of all these top leaders, most of these top leaders in our industry, they all have a story. They have a story from where they've lost everything, where they were working, they were in sales, they've lost everything, to becoming a millionaire or a billionaire. You know what I mean, guys? Your struggles is what's going to lead you to where you are. My struggles was what led me here. And you know what? I'm grateful for my struggles. I'm grateful because if it wasn't for my struggles, I would not be here in this online space doing what I love. Because I love this. I love helping people. I love, even though it's not in healthcare, guys, I much prefer what I'm doing now than working in a clinic, treating HIV patients. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. But being underpaid and having to worry about being fired or or being laid off and not having a job. That's where, this is what happens. And let me tell you guys something. There are no guarantees out there. Okay, you need to create your own future. You need to create your own future. And there's no guarantees. Yes, you go to school and you spend thousands of dollars, guys. I spent thousands of dollars in school. Graduated top of my class, summa cum laude twice. And I could not find a job. I could not find a job. But you know what? All of this was a blessing in disguise. This was a blessing in disguise because this is what led me here. This is what led me here to become an entrepreneur. And I've helped so many people. And I want to continue what I'm doing because I truly love what I do. Hey, Errol, how you doing? Norul, whatever you said, don't worry. I will never stop to love you with love. Oh my gosh, guys. Listen, aside from all the stalkers and all these Indians, I think, these Indian people, I think they come on Facebook looking for something other than marketing. And I don't know where they find me on Facebook. All of these guys want to marry me. Listen, I'm not marriage material. I'm not. If you want to start a business, we can talk. But you need to have money to invest. So do you guys have any questions? Do you guys have any questions about, about telling your story? Because listen, it's so important, guys, to tell your story and to learn the components and how to tell your story to captivate your audience. There are different parts. There are different parts. And once you learn how to create these different parts and tell your story, but you want to tell your story in a way, that's your story. Because, guys, this is when it comes to personal branding. All right? This is so important when it comes to personal branding. You want to tell your story. Let your audience know who you are. Tell them who you are. All right? Tell them, thank you. Oh my gosh, you see what I go through every time I go live, guys. Every time I go live. I have all these guys jumping on, like trying to date me or marry me or stalking me. It's all good. I'm used to it. But, hey, Vanessa, what's up, beautiful? So, Vanessa, I was talking about how to tell your story to captivate and inspire your audience. This is so important, guys. So you guys need to learn how to tell your story, all right? Once you get, and you have to be vulnerable. You have to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself out there and you guys can do it. So do you guys have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for me? So I guess you guys have no questions. So listen, if you guys want to connect with me, if you want coaching, if you need help if you want to take your business to the next level, if you're struggling to generate leads, if you're struggling with branding, whatever your struggles are, send me a message on Messenger, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you all, okay? So I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.